A young man charges into a group of armed men who open fire on him, but he deflects their bullets and cuts them down one by one with his sword. After swiftly eliminating 2 more, only one opponent remains, capable of fighting him on equal footing. Suddenly, another man enters the room. He picks up an object and hurls it at the young man, using the distraction to escape through the window. The young man's mentor advises against pursuing William, as they are evenly matched in strength. Kufa inquires about the Lord and is informed that he has been killed. Meanwhile, a train travels to the city of Flandor, its passengers contemplating the creatures that attack in the dead of night. Upon arrival, Kufa steps off the train and notices a girl. Offering to escort her, he introduces himself, leaving Rossetti surprised by his politeness. They part ways, and Kufa wanders through the deserted city, stopping to observe an injured cat. Elsewhere, William is warmly welcomed by the maids who will be serving him. They inform him that he will be working here for the next 3 years. Meanwhile, he meets Melita, who is standing on a balcony, blushing as she awkwardly adjusts her skirt. Losing her balance, she falls, but William catches her. Embarrassed, Melita introduces herself, and they head together towards the academy. At the academy, Melita is greeted by another girl, Nerva, who teasingly challenges her to a duel. Though Melita hesitates, the match begins, and Nerva quickly overwhelms her with mana-enhanced attacks. She taunts Melita, mocking her ambition to become a Legion warrior, despite not even being able to wield mana. Hearing the jeers from her peers, Melita notices her friend Elise among them. Overcome with emotion, she runs away. Elise later finds her, but Melita bitterly declares that they are no longer friends before leaving. Meanwhile, Kufa watches Melita rush past him in tears, thinking that this must be some cruel joke. That night, as he writes a letter, he recalls a conversation with his mentor, who revealed that Melita's father doubts whether she truly belongs to the angel family. Her disability to awaken mana supports this suspicion. Kufa's first mission is to become her personal tutor and shape her into a powerful warrior. However, after observing her and seeing no sign of mana, he determines that he must kill her. Though reluctant to act immediately, he believes he cannot let someone unworthy carry the angel family name. He feels pity for the girl, who naively believes she can become a great warrior. Convinced that it is his duty to break the cycle and end her suffering, he prepares to eliminate her. However, upon reaching her room, he finds it empty. At that moment, Melita is running through the city, pursued by monstrous creatures. Kufa rushes to find her, witnessing her struggle against lycanthropes. He realizes that someone is trying to forcibly awaken her mana by forcing her into battle. Watching her take hits, he notes that despite her injuries, she refuses to call for help. Unwilling to show weakness, deciding to intervene, Kufa swiftly slaughters the beasts one by one. Melita, astonished by his skill, watches in awe. Apologizing for being late, Kufa reassures her. Melita, in turn, apologizes for the trouble she has caused. He promises to support her and always respond to her calls for help. He then asks her to entrust her life to him, vowing to awaken her power even at the risk of death. Without hesitation, Melita agrees. She takes a leap of faith, drinking the potion alongside Kufa, only to lose consciousness and begin to sink into darkness. Kufa examines Melita, checking her condition and confirming that she has taken the mana-enhancing drug. Though he feels awkward inspecting her, he keeps his emotions hidden. He reassures her that he cares about her well-being and wants her to stay healthy and energetic. He then reveals that her true class is samurai, not paladin. Melita is overjoyed to share a class with him, but Kufa urges her to keep it a secret. He has combined his mana with hers, and if the truth is revealed, they will both be executed. Despite her worries, Kufa warns her that she should only use her mana during lessons. Later, Nerva snatches a book from Melita and invites her to train, but Melita refuses. Kufa notices a group of girls watching them, and Prickett introduces herself to them. He comments that Prickett has gained popularity after awakening her mana, and she hopes to get along with everyone. However, Kufa warns that being too carefree might interfere with her training. The two then leave for home. On the day of the tournament, Melita sees her father but hesitates to approach him, doubting her own abilities. She is soon confronted by Nerva, who insults her, calling her pathetic. Before Melita can respond, Kufa silences Nerva, fueling Melita's determination for revenge. The tournament gathers the city's nobility, and Kufa realizes that their lives depend on the outcome of this battle. Prickett approaches him, mentioning that Elise has been worried about Melita. As the matches begin, Nerva immediately targets Melita, attacking her with mana-enhanced strikes. However, Melita effortlessly deflects them and counters with a powerful kick, overwhelming Nerva with ease. Shocked and unwilling to accept defeat, Nerva launches her strongest technique, convinced that she has won. However, Melita remains seated and calmly remarks that her teacher's attacks were far scarier. She continues to fight, but suddenly, her mana runs out. Realizing her opponent's weakness, Nerva pursues Melita, demanding that she admit defeat. Yet Melita boldly declares that Nerva does not scare her. As Nerva recalls their first meeting, she breaks Melita's sword, thinking the fight is over. However, Melita, unwilling to give up, mimics a technique she has only seen once before. She charges forward, shattering Nerva's defenses and securing victory. The instructor congratulates Melita, and as her father walks past, he warns her not to get arrogant after just one win. However, he acknowledges that she has already shown enough courage to speak with the head of the angel family. Nerva then returns Melita's book, and with that, Melita prepares for her next duel, this time against her friend. Melita questions her teacher, and at first he resists telling her anything but eventually reveals that he knows little about festivals, having spent his life struggling to survive rather than truly living. The girl prepares a dress for the upcoming festival, dreaming of wearing something similar to Elise. She invites Kufa to dance with her, but he informs her that he will be away on a mission and will only return by the end of the festival. Meanwhile, a woman tells Elise that she won her previous battle quickly, but could have delivered a much stronger blow to Melita. She acknowledges that the girl is worthy of becoming the heir of the family. The academy sends them a dress, but the woman disapproves of it. Melita puts on her dress, but all eyes are on Elise's attire. Some people note that Elise disregards the academy's prestige. Feeling overwhelmed, she cries by the fountain, where Melita approaches her to offer comfort. Suddenly, they are surrounded by William Jin's squad, who take them away. Melita awakens in a dark hall and notices bandages on her arm. She tries to use her power, but fails, realizing that her opponent is a lycanthrope. He laughs, understanding that she is not a paladin. He introduces himself as an artificial philanthropist, a human capable of rivaling mana users. He reveals that he detected her power when she used it and intends to transfer Elise's abilities to her, though the chances of success are extremely low. If the process fails, she may be left disabled forever. Melita realizes they are in a museum. Elise also wakes up and finds herself surrounded by monsters from old stories. Melita tries to calm her, but the creatures continue closing in. Elise rushes forward and strikes a statue, causing it to topple, allowing them to escape. They spot a map showing the museum's exit and find regular weapons nearby. Melita rips apart Elise's dress, which was made from the feathers of a firebird. However, the monsters attack, knocking their weapons away. Melita picks up the fabric and ignites it, using the flames to kill one monster after another. They continue running until they reach the exit, where Jin awaits them. He extinguishes their torch effortlessly and knocks them unconscious. As they regain their senses, they look at him with fear as he prepares to kill them, his hand almost reaching out to Melita. At that moment, their teachers intervene. They rush into battle, easily defeating the monsters. Rossetti uses her skill to clear the area, while Kufa finds William. William summons a creature using a heart as a catalyst, creating an artificial lycanthrope that can maximize its abilities. He begins fighting it, but is quickly overpowered. Kufa joins the battle, but the creature corners him. William attempts to seal its mana, but Kufa instead cuts off his own arm to escape. He then kills the creature, declaring that the girl will surpass him one day. However, as the beast lunges at Kufa, William assumes he is dead, but Kufa rises, surpassing his limits. His hair turns completely white, and he regenerates his lost arm, revealing his true nature as a vampire. He tells William that he has no intention of killing him, and that Melita has mastered her skill, making her death meaningless. William warns that if she grows too powerful, she will become a target. Meanwhile, another mentor assigns a girl to investigate Kufa, suspecting something unusual about him. Later, Kufa reveals that Melita's father wanted to harm her. The girl asks if he will stay with her for a long time. She then makes a request for him to wait for her until she grows up. Kufa agrees. A young Elise wanders through the forest, calling for help. Suddenly, a wolf lunges at her, but Melita drives it away. The older girl takes Elise by the hand and leads her to safety. Elise expresses her desire to stay with Melita as a younger sister. Then she wakes up from her dream, lost in thought. The girls head to school together, and their teachers notice how close they have become, acting like real sisters. Kufa remarks that openly displaying such closeness among instructors would be inappropriate, as they are supposed to appear hostile toward each other. However, the head maid of the estate does not share this sentiment. Rossetti states that their only mission is to protect their students' peaceful school days. Meanwhile, the students are excitedly discussing who will earn the new moon title. Everyone eagerly anticipates the battle against the rival academy. Melita proposes to Elise that they form a team, despite their different social statuses. The selection tournament begins, where cadets will fight for the title. During the tournament, all external contact is strictly prohibited. Every aspect of a contestant's performance, including behavior in the academy, will be evaluated. The one who accumulates the most points will receive the title. Valkyries will guard the entrance, allowing allowing entry only to those with permission. As the rival academy students arrive, Melida and Elise are announced as representatives of their academy, shocking everyone. The instructor asks them to step forward and explains the details of the trial. It will be a 3-person team battle, and the team with the most medals will win. Melida is given the privilege of choosing a teammate. Both Nerva and Shenfa volunteer. As the tournament is declared open, the participants are locked inside. Elise overhears students gossiping about her being weak, and suspecting that she altered her name on the display board. Distressed, she approaches her teacher, insisting on her innocence. Kufa reassures her, promising that he will stand by her side even if the entire world turns against her. He asks her to trust in him and his words with unwavering faith. As the girls continue their training, Nerva requests that the instructor lighten their weapons to prevent injuries, but the instructor refuses. Shenfa then asks for a break, and he agrees. Meanwhile, a girl approaches Melida and asks how she is doing. Realizing her popularity, Melida understands that she must defeat Elise to prove her strength. The girl mentions that she will be rooting for her. When Kufa inquires about the girl's identity, Melida admits that she is from the rival academy, but never learned her name. Later, Kufa spots the head maid destroying evidence and finds a shard of glass, proof that the girls were framed. The maid confesses, claiming it was for Elise's own good. Melida protests, demanding an official acknowledgement if she manages to defeat Elise. The instructor praises Melida for her resolve and wishes her a good night. Walking through the hallway, Kufa notices a wrapped package. Meanwhile, Rossetti observes that her student has never looked so sad before. Kufa accepts an invitation to a meeting, where a mysterious girl greets him, mentioning how long it has been since they last saw each other. Elsewhere, Elise visits Melida in her room. At the same time, Black Madia reports that Kufa's latest mission report is incomplete, suspecting that he concealed something. She orders him to bring her a sample of Melida's blood. Kufa refuses, and a battle breaks out between them. He declares that his loyalty lies with his mistress. Meanwhile, Elise plans to deliberately lose to Melida. When she confesses this, Melida objects, insisting that such an outcome would be unfair. In the forest, Kufa and Black Madia's fight intensifies until Rossetti intervenes. Black Madia pulls out a second weapon just as other instructors arrive, forcing her to retreat. Rossetti remarks that she has never seen such a unique fighting style before. Kufa explains that his opponent can mimic all 7 combat classes. Her class is Clown, the most powerful of them all. Elise, still convinced that Melida has no chance of winning, resolves to throw the match in her favor. Charlotte Blankmage announces that the tournament will proceed as planned. Kufa says that Black Madia, who will be participating, is a hired assassin. However, they are told that the Academy's decision is final and cannot be challenged. Rossetti notices Melida eating alone, but the head maid interrupts, stating that Elise is not comparable to Melida. Other students observe the conflict. Nerva and Shenfa sit next to Melida, and Shenfa hopes they will work well together in battle. Elise gets out of bed and notices how many bruises she has. Kufa gives her milk and asks what happened between them. Melida explains that Elise said she would hold back against her. Kufa tells her not to dwell on it, and advises her to talk to Elise during the tournament to tell her the truth. Melida says she loves her sister. All the students gather for the tournament. Rossetti notices that Kufa has prepared his sword. The headmaster announces that the entire palace will serve as the battlefield. The winner will be the one who collects the most medals. The trial begins, and Melida enters the palace. The battle starts, and Melida's first opponent is Elise. They engage in combat. Meanwhile, Kufa finds a girl. She runs into a hall, and Melida charges at her. Kufa asks her to hand over the backpack and then pins her to the ground. The girl tells him to enjoy himself and introduces herself as Mulele Moore. Her ability allows her to absorb an opponent's mana. Kufa apologizes to her and leaves. Elise tells Melida that she is weak and that she does not want to fight her or see her fall behind. She declares that she wants to be second, but Melida knocks Elise's sword away, saying that she will always be one step ahead. Melida promises to always be by her side. The two girls embrace while Nerva watches from a distance. However, Melida realizes that the presence before her is not Nerva mana. Black Madia reveals herself and attacks the girls, destroying the palace. Melida tries to deflect the attack. The Valkyries' swords are useless. Kufa sees the girl for who she truly is. She tells him that she cannot return home. Kufa gives her a letter, saying that his report will help her avoid punishment. Victory is awarded to the student from the other school. Kufa does not understand why Lady Othello is here when she does not possess mana. Mulele Moore mentions the mana analyzer, which contains information on all students and their mana. Melida invites Elise Elise to join her group, and Elise accepts. Rossetti enters Kufa's room, telling him about the rumors. Meanwhile, the girls head to the library with students from another class, avoiding the patrol. There, they discover a hall filled with other students who are celebrating and having a party to mark the tournament's closing. A girl approaches them and says that next time she will show them a real result. Elise declares that in the next tournament, she will support Melida. The girls decide to talk about love, with Melida speaking first, followed by Mule. Then, Mule suggests telling ghost stories and shares a tragic love story. She recounts the tale of a married couple from the city of Water who decided to move to another town, only to be attacked there. The husband started treating his wife cruelly, and one day, he cut out her heart and ran away. But the heart spoke to him, and he realized the terrible act he had committed. Overcome with grief, he threw himself into the water, and their souls ascended to the heavens. However, the woman's body began searching for its missing heart. The Grey Witch will never stop. A series of murders followed across the city. At that moment, the lights suddenly go out. One of the girls disappears. Before them stands a girl in a witch's robe. The students panic and run away. 4 of them decide to return to the dormitory. Mule insists that witches don't exist. While running, Melida steps on something and panics, thinking she has stepped on someone's insides. They continue fleeing, not noticing a ledge, and all fall down. A strange liquid spills onto the girls. Elise decides to take off her clothes, while another girl complains that the liquid has seeped inside. Suddenly, the lights go out again and the witch appears. Salaka activates her mana but ends up tripping and falling. Melida and Elise prepare to fight. Elise uses a flash attack, but it is effortlessly deflected. Realizing they cannot win, the girls decide to keep running. They manage to escape through the drainage system and are met by their teacher, Kufa. The girls frantically explain that they are in danger. Kufa, however, says he has hit a dead end in his search for a heart that was cut from someone's chest. Back in his room, he reveals that the whole event was a prank, and they had all been fooled. Rossetti had told him about the secret party. The role of the Grey Witch was played by Rossetti, while the disgusting things they stepped on were actually fairy jelly. The students glare at him with hatred, calling him a pervert. Kufa dismisses them, saying they can return to their rooms, but the girls find themselves unable to stand due to numb legs. Kufa lays them down and reads them a book. Their home is engulfed in flames, and a boy tells a girl that he only wants her to be happy. Meanwhile, Kufa stands before a girl with his sword. Melida prepares for a training trip. At the same time, Kufa is handed a mysterious drug. Elise soon joins them, and Rossetti suddenly asks Kufa to marry her. She reveals that she lied about them living together and now needs him to play along in front of the others. Kufa agrees, and they all go to school together, causing jealousy among the students. This does not sit well with a councilwoman, who bows to Elise and insults Melida by calling her weak. A carriage arrives, carrying Marquis Blossom Prickett, who greets his daughter. He is thanked for his visit. Kufa mentions that the girl is originally from Shangarta. The Marquis is well known for his work in genetic engineering. During their conversation, he announces that he has arranged a marriage for his daughter. However, she boldly declares that she is already dating Kufa. The Marquis is displeased, staring at Kufa intensely. He realizes that Kufa resembles a boy from his past, the one who once caused chaos in his childhood. Kufa, feeling unwell, says he cannot attend the upcoming event and leaves. Melida notices her teacher's unusual behavior and decides to speak with him. Meanwhile, Black Madia observes the girl running off and comments that the meeting is not over yet. As Melida approaches, she suddenly experiences a vision. At the same time, one of the students loses consciousness. Kufa had arrived just a few minutes earlier. The Marquis then uses a special substance that can track mana, revealing that the color of mana is blue. He begins to suspect Kufa. However, Kufa states that he has no evidence to prove his innocence. The train carrying the students continues its journey to another city. The students think about their teacher as heavy lightning strikes outside. They soon arrive at a city built into the cliffs. As they walk through, Melida hears voices in her head. Kufa stops her, and the Marquis warns them that the place is shrouded in mystery and should not be entered. In the town square, a man infected with a mysterious illness has reached an advanced stage. The locals decide to execute him. The headmistress of the academy disapproves of their actions. Blossom explains that the man had developed a condition called murderous mania, leaving them with no choice but to kill him. Rossetti apologizes for dragging them into trouble. Meanwhile, her younger sister is greeted by a group of children who ask her to play with them. She confesses that she has no memories of her childhood. Their father is seen helping the children. Melida, meanwhile, grows jealous upon seeing her teacher spending time with another girl. As an apology, she demands that he put stockings on her. Kufa takes the stockings and carefully helps her put them on. Then, he invites her on a date. He takes her to a cave, revealing its hidden beauty. As they explore, they accidentally fall and experience a brief moment of weightlessness. Melida asks how he knew about this place. Kufa replies that he once discovered it during a mission. He then lays her down to sleep. Before drifting off, she asks him to take her on another date. She also also expresses her desire to be the only one who truly knows him. Kufa remains silent, uncertain of how to respond. That night, Melida has a terrifying nightmare. She is abruptly awakened by Elise, who informs her that someone has been attacked again. Upon arriving at the temple, Melida and the others discover children whose life force has been drained. The headmistress asks to speak with Melida's teacher, but she has no idea where he is. Realizing that Kufa is responsible for what happened, the Marquess orders his capture. Meanwhile, Elise tries to talk to Melida, but she is too overwhelmed by the situation. As the students gather, they discuss who could have committed such an atrocity. Feeling conflicted, Melida decides to flee, but is intercepted by Black Media, who quickly deduces that she intends to side with Kufa. Black Media asks her what she hopes to uncover. Melida changes into a disguise, remembering that Kufa had asked Black Media to take care of her if anything happened to him. Just then, a maid enters the room and offers them chocolate. In the city, the students attempt to gather information by questioning townspeople about mysterious places, but they are met with hostility. They then stage a performance about flowers, using it as an excuse to ask about the Marquess's achievements. One of his notable accomplishments involves the search for hidden locations. Following this clue, they come across a crooked house, realizing it was deliberately designed that way to conceal something. Upon entering, they find a hidden underground chamber where horrific experiments were conducted on people. These individuals were failed test subjects, turned into lycanthropes under the guise of a rare disease. The experiments had continued in secret. Suddenly, Melida hears a voice in her head again, and realizes another incident is about to occur. They discover that Elise is unharmed, but Rossetti is severely wounded, bleeding profusely. Soon after, Blossom announces that his daughter is dead. When questioned, he reveals that they had gone searching for Melida. The suspicions surrounding Kufa intensifies. Determined to bring his daughter back, Blossom becomes obsessed with resurrection. Black Media notes that defeating both a paladin and a powerful warrior is no easy feat. Meanwhile, Melida recalls something she had wanted to discuss with Rossetti earlier. The townspeople, believing the Marquess has been attacked, attempt to capture Melida and take her hostage. Shenfa urges her to escape. Grabbing a sword, Melida flees toward the mysterious location she had been investigating. Breaking through a stone barrier, she discovers an entrance. As she ventures deeper, she finds records signed by the Marquess. The documents repeatedly reference the night gene factor. 7 years ago, his experiments had ended in failure. Once again, the voice in Melida's head returns. She declares that she is a paladin. Noticing a blue aura of mana, Melida realizes that Rossetti is the true culprit. Before Rossetti can strike, Kufa arrives just in time to save Melida. Desperate, Kufa urges Rossetti to remember everyone who loves her, hoping to bring her back to her senses. Overwhelmed, Rossetti flees. Still shaken, Melida turns to Kufa and asks why her teacher looked like that. Kufa tells Melida to step back as he approaches Rossetti, preparing to seal her memories. He assures her that she won't feel any pain, and urges her to stay calm. Even if she forgets everything, he promises to remain her teacher. As he looks into her eyes, Melida interjects, saying that no matter how he looks, she finds everything about him wonderful. Overcome with emotion, she kisses him. Kufa then reveals the truth. He is half lycanthrope. In the past, a city burned as a monstrous spider-like creature rampaged through it. The Marquess declared the experiment a failure, but the creature claimed that it would never run out of sustenance as long as it remained on this land. A young boy awoke and, in desperation, bit a girl. Meanwhile, other hunters attacked the creature, but it slaughtered them with ease. The boy retaliated, destroying its eyes while another man shot it with a pistol, seemingly killing it. Later, the boy sealed the girl's memories, ensuring she would never remember being turned into a vampire or develop a thirst for blood. He swore to protect her and, in exchange, pledged himself to serve the army. The girl would never recall his existence, but he wished for her happiness above all else. Hearing this story, Melida promises never to reveal what she has learned. Kufa explains that someone is trying to awaken Rossetti's lost memories, and that the creature from the past had survived, now using a vampire as its pawn. If Rossetti's power fully awakens, Kufa's secret will be exposed. He asks Melida to entrust her life to him, and she agrees without hesitation. Soon after, Rossetti is set to be married, but her behavior appears unnervingly off. Just as the ceremony begins, Melida bursts into the hall, boldly declaring that her love for her teacher is stronger than Rossetti's. Enraged, Rossetti attacks, causing her suppressed memories to resurface. In a frenzy, Rossetti sets a servant ablaze and reveals that the lycanthrope was behind the attack. A battle erupts as everyone fights against the monstrous entity. Regaining her full memory, Rossetti recalls the events from 7 years ago and the orders she was given. As Kufa helps her stabilize her memories, they all agree that the creature must be destroyed once and for all. Pooling their strengths, they engage in a fierce battle. The creature hurls massive stones, but Rossetti counters with her gravity-based ability, trapping it within a gravitational vortex. Kufa strikes, and lightning surges through the monster, tearing it apart. The students finish off its remaining fragments, ensuring its destruction. With the danger gone, Rossetti regains all of her lost memories, but Kufa makes the difficult decision to seal them once again. He reminds her that he has a contract with the guild, and it's safer this way. Rossetti protests, wanting to remember and stay by his side, but Kufa assures her that he will always watch over her. Elsewhere, a man contemplates his next move. Kufa realizes that the Marquess's true goal had been to save his beloved. Remembering how the Marquess once helped him in the past, Kufa decides to repay the favor. He successfully restores the Marquess's wife, preventing her from fully transforming. With their mission complete, the students board the train back home, discussing the Marquess's decision to surrender to the authorities. Rossetti, now with her memories sealed, recalls nothing of their journey. She reveals that she joined the Cross Legion for a single purpose: to find someone from her past. As they settle in for the trip, Melita sits beside Kufa, confidently declaring that they have a special relationship. At school, the teacher asks about the strategic advantages and disadvantages of different classes. Melita states that a samurai, when fighting against any class, can create a situational advantage. Kufa observes that she has grown significantly. As the academic year nears its end, the students are informed about the upcoming exam at the Horned Wyvern Library, an enormous labyrinth at the heart of Flandor. This library contains many secret texts. The teachers warn that the exam will be challenging and likely dangerous. The headmaster invites the girls to participate, noting that they had already distinguished themselves during the tournament. The students deliberate on whether to accept. Meanwhile, Mula Lamore reports that after comparing mana, she has noticed a significant difference between Melida and the others. The suspicion that Melida lacks paladin mana and is not truly a child of the angel family begins to spread. Rumors grow, and the decision is made to expose the truth. The student council discusses how to present this information to the public. Mule proposes using a magic codex, a document detailing everything. They agree to expose the deception of the angel family. Salacha expresses doubts about her brother's true intentions regarding Melida. However, he reassures her, claiming that uncovering the truth is the best course of action, as many conspiracies are forming around Melida. He gives Salaka a lucky charm, a fountain pen. At the entrance of the academy, a mysterious figure arrives, wishing to see his daughter. He sees Melida and calls her daughter before leaving. That night, Kufa reads a message concerning a false soldier. He replies in a cryptic manner, continuing his investigation. Melida notices him deep in thought. Kufa already suspected that someone would spread rumors about her, but now he understands that someone is deliberately trying to tarnish the angel family's reputation. He is certain that the enemy has another trick prepared. As part of his plan, Kufa tests Melida and informs her that she must pass the Horned Wyvern Library exam. She asks what will happen if she fails, to which he replies that she will face punishment. Playfully, she requests a reward for passing. Elise accompanies her to the exam, and Melita promises to do her best. The students are lowered into the depths of the library. Before they begin, the headmaster reminds them of the rules. The deeper they go, the stronger the spirits will be. Soon after, they are attacked mid-descent. Meanwhile, Kufa is summoned to meet a guest, the father of Melida Angel, Felgus Angel. Kufa introduces himself and informs him that the students have already entered the exam. Felgus declares that Melida does not need such a title, and demands she be brought back immediately, intending to take her to his residence. The Duke reveals that an unidentified individual infiltrated the academy's grounds. Kufa insists that Melida has potential, and he just needs more time to unlock it. However, Felgus remains adamant. A maid interrupts, delivering a letter bearing the seal of another guild. The message warns that the blood of young girls will flood the library. Inside the library, the girls proceed, believing the exam has begun. Suddenly, they are attacked by ghosts. Elise regains her composure and fights back, while Melida recalls all of Kufa's lessons and battles fiercely. They defeat the monsters and move forward, though their swords suffer heavy damage. Before they can recover, a massive horde of ghosts appears. At that moment, they are met by Muli Lamore and Salacha. Kufa decides to go ahead alone and asks the others to support him from the outside. Meanwhile, the girls continue their exam and are invited to join forces. They check the map and realize they are on the second level, but they need to reach the fifth. The book they found can be opened multiple times. One of the girls explains the tricks of the library and suggests they try a spell. When they cast it, their outfits change. Though the new attire makes it difficult to move, they have strengthened their abilities. Salasha transforms into a mermaid, and as Mule holds her, the others curiously reach out to touch her. The spell soon dissipates, and they resume their descent. Their next task is to organize and clean up books. However, as they attempt to place the books, creatures emerge from them, and the girls find themselves unable to complete the task. Mule quickly realizes that this is a puzzle. She figures out the correct order for arranging the books, and when they place the final one in the last open slot, the creatures disappear. Salasha catches Melita as she nearly falls. The girls now understand the structure of the exam and feel ready to return. Mule asks why they came here in the first place, but Melita responds with her own question. If she passes this exam, can she truly be considered a child of the angel family? Before they can continue, Salasha suddenly takes the book and reveals that the exam is actually a trap. At the same time, the headmaster finds the other students and tells them that they have fallen to the most dangerous level of the library. Cloaked figures approach and declare that none of them will be leaving. Shenfa examines them closely and realizes that they have undergone some kind of transformation. Then Crodal, an apostle of the Greenfields Guild, steps forward. The headmaster demands to know why he wants the academy's students. In response, Crodal begins resurrecting the dead. One of the undead attacks and injures the headmaster. Charlotte declares that sometimes risking one's life is necessary, but before the undead can cause further harm, Kufa arrives and kills them. Even when Crodal revives them again, Kufa easily eliminates them once more. Closing in, Kufa slays the apostle. The headmaster collapses and entrusts the students to him. The girls confess that they were the ones who activated the text in the elevator. However, the apostle rises again. Meanwhile, Mule and Salaka have actually deceived Melita and Elise. Mule notes that Melita's class is samurai and decides to run. Salaka, however, chooses to help Melita chase her down. The students nearly reach the exit, but Kufa realizes that unless he transforms into a vampire, he won't be able to win. He is saved by William Gina and holds the creature. Kufa approaches the boy and thanks him. The students, seeing William's lycanthropic form, express their gratitude. William informs them that the guild has infiltrated the academy and that their plan was to kill all the female students. Kufa is relieved that he left the girls in a safer place. Then, Kufa's mentor approaches William and offers him a place among them. William agrees, but only on the condition that he be given information about how to reverse his transformation back into a human. If they provide this knowledge, he will act as their spy. He also reveals that multiple organizations have been secretly observing recent events, and that Kufa is the only one suited for this mission. Elsewhere, the girls finally catch Mule, but she casts a spell in response. Melita wakes up in strange attire and is greeted by Mule. A large crowd has gathered and Mule's brother welcomes her. A trial begins. Mule introduces herself. Melita refuses to bow and says she wants to leave. She is accused of lying about being part of the angel family. Serge announces that they have found someone who can prove she is an imposter. Since Melita's class is samurai, she explains that children do not always inherit the highest-ranked mana. When asked why she awakened at the age of 13, she refuses to answer. The crowd begins demanding that commoners be expelled from the city. Melita commands them to be silent and declares that she will prove that her parents truly loved each other. She asks for proof against her. In response, Serge challenges her to fight Salacha, a member of the angel family. The battle begins. Salacha apologizes, saying she has no choice but to fight. Mule notes that this match will be extremely difficult for Melita. Elise, feeling betrayed, challenges Mule to a fight. At first, everyone believes Melita is losing, but Serge notices her technique and movements. Salasha attacks but exposes herself to a counter-strike. Melita declares that she is proud to be a samurai, and that she will make everyone recognize her for who she is. Others begin to fear that they too could be labeled traitors. Serge suddenly summons a shadow from his fountain pen, altering the effects of the magical codex. Melita wants to save everyone, including the noblewoman who had been against her, but then the doors slam shut, and a mysterious magical figure appears, claiming to be true evil. Elise rushes to attack but is quickly defeated. The girls are rescued by their teacher Kufa. He apologizes for his delay. Melita insists on fighting too. The battle begins. Remembering Kufa's training, she and Kufa fight together. Using all their strength, they easily defeat their enemy. Melita hugs Kufa. Meanwhile, Mule throws away the book containing evidence about Melita. The Duke watches as a clown bleeds out and kills him. Realizing there is still much to do, Melita sees her father leaving. The events are widely reported in the newspapers. Duke Serge conducts an independent investigation and discovers a criminal, but the suspect escapes. The students resume their training. Later, Melita runs to her father. He tells her that her great-grandmother was also a samurai and that Melita resembles her mother. Overcome with emotion, Melita starts crying. Felgus departs.